Cardano, Optimism, and Hedera. What makes a blockchain ecosystem thrive? Is it just about the technology, the number of developers, or does it come down to something even more fundamental? How projects get funded? Every blockchain ecosystem needs strong projects to grow, but how do they decide who gets the funding? Today, we are looking at three different ecosystems: Cardano, Optimism, and Hedera, and the very different ways they feel innovation. Let's start with Cardano. It takes a community-driven approach through its Catalyst program. Anyone can propose a project, and the community votes on who gets the funding. It's decentralized and open, but also project quality can vary a lot in this sort of system. Some brilliant ideas get funded, but some that never really take off. Optimism does things a little differently. Instead of funding ideas upfront, it uses something called retroactive public goods funding. That means the projects get rewarded only after they've proven their impact. This ensures high quality projects get money, but also makes it harder for new ideas to get early support. And then there's Hedera. Hedera runs its funding more like business, centrally managed by a review community. Their focus is on enterprise adoption. That means the projects they fund are often well structured and reliable, but there's less room for the kind of grassroots innovation that drives Web3 forward. So three very different funding models, one led by community, one led by results, and one led by enterprises. But which one leads the long-term success? That's what we'll explore next. Does more funding mean a stronger blockchain? You'd think that the more funding on an ecosystem, the faster it grows. The more funding means more projects, right? But here's a surprise. Cardano has been actively funding for years, but its TVL has actually gone down. Why? Let's look at the numbers. Back in 2023, Cardano had around 655 million ADA logged in its ecosystem. Less than a year later, the number had dropped by over 12%. This means that despite constant funding, value isn't sticking around. One reason is that Cardano funds a lot of projects, but it doesn't focus on keeping them in the ecosystem. A project gets funded, builds something, and then what? There's no guarantee that users, developers, or liquidity providers will stay. Optimism avoids this issue by funding projects after they've already proven their value, and they don't just give money and walk away. They require projects to commit long term. That means developers and users have a reason to stay, keeping value in the ecosystem. Hedera's approach is different. Their funding is aimed at large scale enterprise adoption, meaning their projects don't just build out, they get deeply integrated into business operations. That kind of integration creates stability and reducing the projects disappearing overnight. So the big take funding alone doesn't drive success. It's about how much money an ecosystem gives out. It's about whether that money is keeping value locked in for a long haul. And right now, that's something that Cardano needs to fix. Cardano and its growth strategy. So, how does Cardano fix this problem? How does it make sure that the funding actually leads to long term growth? There are three big changes that would make all the difference. First, Cardano needs to define how projects are chosen. Right now, anyone can apply for funding. The problem the best marketers often win, not the best builders. To fix this, Cardano could introduce a hybrid model. Keep the community vote, but add the expert reviews to evaluate the technical feasibility. That way, the most promising projects get prioritized without losing the spirit of decentralization. Second, Cardano needs better incentives for liquidity retention. The problem isn't that good projects aren't getting built out, it's that they aren't keeping the users and capital inside the ecosystem. Other blockchains tackle this with structured incentives. For example, Optimism locks in certain funding for up to a year, making sure the project doesn't take money and just leave. Cardano could do something similar by rewarding projects not just for launching but for maintaining growth over time. And third, Cardano has to invest in its own infrastructure. The best projects in the world won't matter if the underlying network infrastructure isn't fast, isn't scalable, or isn't easy to integrate. Right now, Ethereum dominates because of its vast developer ecosystem and cross-chain compatibility, more importantly. For Cardano to compete, it needs better layer scaling solutions, improved trust in support, and more incentives for developers to build here instead of elsewhere. Three changes: better project evaluation, stronger liquidity incentives, and smart infrastructure investments. This would transform Cardano from just a funding platform into true innovation powerhouse. Will Cardano make the right move? Cardano has all the pieces to become the leading blockchain ecosystem. It has strong community, a steady stream of funded projects, and a governance model designed for long-term decentralization. But right now, something is missing, and that is sustainability. The difference between blockchain that thrives and the one that stagnates isn't how many projects it funds, it's how well it retains value. Right now, Cardano's funding model creates innovation, but it's not structured to keep the innovation within its ecosystem. This is fixable with better grant evaluation, long-term liquidity incentives, and infrastructure investment. Cardano can shift from funding projects to building a lasting blockchain economy. The real question is, will Cardano make these changes? Or will it keep funding projects that disappear as quickly as they arrive? The future of Cardano isn't about funding, it's about retention, it's about strategy, it's about infrastructure. And the next steps will decide whether Cardano leads blockchain space or gets left behind.